And a very good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in to this edition of Fly Like an Eagle. I'm James Scorza with you, filling in for Mitch Kofsky. He'll join us momentarily, having a little bit of Wi-Fi issues and all that. But joining me is my brother from the Past and Av Sports Show, Joey Marks. Joey, how you feeling, my brother?
It's all right. Mitch is just continuing to come down off the celebration of his LA Dodgers winning the World Series in back-to-back years. He's flying in from LAX. That's the
Right.
problem. I'm doing good. We trade deadline passed. The second half of the football season's upon us, and I'm looking forward to whooping the Packers' ass.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think that's wasn't the Packers the one that had the bone to pick with the tush push? I think we'll be doing that
Mhm.
a lot momentarily on Monday night up at Lambeau. So let's get into it, shall we? Like the Philadelphia Eagles this week starting. Actually, this week was a positive bye week more than anything. You saw a lot of good teams coming out on the bye week. I mean, coming out in our favor. The Packers lost last week against the Panthers. The next opponent for the Eagles, obviously, is Monday night, like we mentioned. Then we had the Vikings beating the Detroit Lions over the weekend, so that's another positive going into next weekend. But the big storyline coming out of the not training camp, the big storyline coming out of the bye week rather, is the trade deadline. As the Philadelphia Eagles made some moves on the trade deadline, the first one came in as Jaire Alexander is now a new member of the Eagles. Joey, I'll ask you the first important question here. How you feel about this move, man? How you feel about Jaire Alexander coming to Philly?
We talked about him in the beginning of the season being an Eagle. We talked about what we like about Jaire Alexander and what we don't. And one of the things that we said that we didn't was the injury bug, bit Alexander quite a bit in the last
Mm-hmm.
couple of years.
Yep.
Not to mention he's not the guy he once was. But that being said, see, it's true. Anyhow, I'm
But
sorry.
just these,
Excuse me.
it's true. That's
Yeah,
exactly right. It's an old timey wise tale.
yeah. So, the idea of Jair Alexander being an Eagle right now, I feel like is better than Adoree Jackson.
Hmm.
Look, if we cut Adoree Jackson tomorrow and we had Alexander as his replacement, I'm good with that. Because when we got Adoree Jackson over Alexander, I found it really difficult to explain to myself this is better than that. Like it didn't feel that way.
Right.
Even though what my opinion about Alexander in the preseason was he's nothing to write home about, but Adoree Jackson's definitely not anything to write home. He's worse than something to write home about.
Hmm.
And that's the big difference. I think it gives depth to this secondary. I think it gives presence to this secondary, and I think it gives, look, sometimes we've talked about this before. Sometimes it's the right player in the right system can revitalize that player's career. We've seen it here plenty of times. Zach Bond was a special teamers at best in New
Mm-hmm.
Orleans. He came here, he was pretty much defensive player of the year. Now you put Jaire Alexander on the Eagles team with Guantanamo Bay and Cooper DeJean and all the other players you have on this defense. All of a sudden, it's not just on him, and maybe that raises his bar of play.
Right. Yeah. So for me, with Jair Alexander coming into Philadelphia, I think it was a thing that happened during the week when AJ Brown was like they touring with him, just saying that's my son. Like just to say like a little bit of because they had a little bit of a beef last year at that Brazil game between AJ and Jair Alexander. But for me, I think the one thing that makes it even better for him is that, like you said, Joe, there's a lot of players that come to Philadelphia and they kind of like resurrect their careers. I mean, you think about Zach Bond, you think about Jay Ajayi. We'll talk about the Dolphins in a little bit later because there's another Dolphin coming into town that is very excited to be a Philadelphia Eagle for sure. But yeah, I gotta say right now, this was a very good move, and I hate to say right now, as a big Bulldog fan myself, is that that probably tells you that Keely Ringo's on his way out. That tells you that Dory Jackson's on his way out, or maybe Jacorian Bennett then fit the narrative either. But I like this move. I thought this was a very good move that was made. And I think now, obviously, he had some obstacles with his injury front with the Packers last year and then with the Ravens this year. But I think he's going to come into this situation definitely looking to try to like become the Jaire Alexander of the old, like he was with those Packers days for sure.
Here's the other thing. We talked about it last week on Fly Like an Eagle. Michael Carter got picked up and traded for, and that's a slot corner. You already have Cooper and Mitchell, and you already have Nakuba and Reed
Sidney Brown,
Blankenship.
Blankenship, sorry.
Yeah. So here's the thing you have to think about. You add now an Alexander, Michael Carter, Jacorian Bennett, even with an Adoree Jackson and a Keely Ringo, like even with those guys, you give more versatility to this defense. I go back to last year. Darius Slay was not a 40-50 snap cornerback.
That's right.
And he was very limited in how in where he played. We talked about this I think it was last episode on the Patterson Ave Sports Show with our good friend Scott Churchson.
Yeah.
That he basically said, Darius Slay said, I only play on the left side of the field. So you were limited to who you could plug and play in that specific spot because Slay only played on one side of the field. You have more versatility and depth in the secondary position. It gives someone like Vic Fangio, the mad scientist, this ability to be like, I could create different packages. Now all of a sudden I could have Coop and Mitchell in one faction, and then kind of like flip it around to Alexander and Keely Ringo, or Alexander and Michael Carter on another faction. And understand something, not all of that is going to work out like gangbusters, but it's going to give more versatility to this defense. And I think if you go back to last season, when we had more actually, if you go back to the seasons with this past season when we went and won the Super Bowl, 2022, 23, when we went to the Super Bowl but lost, and 2017 season, we had a lot of versatility and depth, and that helped, especially in the long haul. So I think, and we'll talk about it a little later, I not only think Howie got more depth in the cornerback position, he also got more depth in the defensive line position.
Yeah, for sure. We got a couple of comments here that we chime here today. We got Little Griffith 7126 checks in, says, I'm a big Eagles fan. Better off that we kick Green Bay's asses this weekend. Thanks for chiming in. Hit that like and subscribe button on our channels here on Stream Punk Entertainment and also our sister station Hardcore Sports Network.
We got to be sensitive about the Packers and using the word ass or tush around them this week because they're a little sensitive about losing in the court.
Obtuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Shawshank Redemption. Why are you so obtuse, guys? I mean, other than that. But my dad, Joe Squirts, also checks in and says, by the way, Jaire Alexander is a local kid from the Philadelphia area. So it's also good to see him coming back to his hometown, kind of like a familiar effect with Hassan Reddick, but probably better. That's the thing, too, with that. Before I go to this next comment here. Maybe that will probably give him a little bit of a chip on his shoulder that he'll be playing better for his hometown team now, too, Joe.
Well, there's a comparison. There's the Hassan Reddick, and we could criticize and scrutinize Hassan, but he had one of his best years in his career here in Philadelphia, so it did help his career. And then you look at another local guy who actually won a Super Bowl in Philly Green in Philadelphia, and that was Corey Clement. And so understand something. When you bring local products of this area to this team, sometimes they understand what it means to be an Eagle, what it means to play football in this town. And sometimes that gives more credence to them playing with their hair on fire.
Definitely, definitely. And we got one more here. So he says, my dad, Joe Scorza, says, I think all the moves Vic Fangio gives him many more weapons to work with, too, along the way, too.
Mm.
Speaking of Vic Fangio, and also speaking of his former team, the Miami Dolphins, the Philadelphia Eagles made another move on the offseason move. Great way to segue into our next topic here. Jalen Phillips. He is
Mm.
now a Philadelphia Eagle, and from the very beginning, Johnny Airport was there, also known as John Clark, interviewing the first guy to interview him. Said that it was probably just a resurrection of his career, saying, I'm glad to be here. This is the best time of my life. Joey, I'll ask you the question. I know how excited you are about Jair Alexander, but how do you think he'll fit in with this Eagles team, let alone with all the defensive end players that we have, like the Jalen Carters and Jordan Davises? But how do you think he'll fit in with this team that Vic Fangio could easily can fit him in like he did with his Dolphins days? But how can he fit in with this team today, especially with all those group of guys that I mentioned?
Here's the thing, and it's ironic that the year that we went to the Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
we traded to the Dolphins a third round pick
Mm-hmm.
to go get Jay Ajayi. This year, we're looking to go back to the Super Bowl. We traded a third round pick to the Dolphins to go bring this kid in. Now, this is what I'll say. I like him, but I need to see more of him.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he's excited to be in Philadelphia. He came from a losing franchise, a franchise that's in complete disarray, that has a head coach that's a head case. Okay. You go from that to this, the grass is greener on this side, and he knows it now. And my feeling is it gives depth. You're going to have Brandon Graham that's going to be active for this Monday Night Football game.
Oh,
You're
I
going to have
can't wait.
Nolan Smith that's going to be coming back within, whether it's this week or next week. You're going to have he's going to add some depth. There was something brought up earlier this morning that honestly, I wouldn't put it above Vic Fangio to do. I want to see the NASCAR package back in the defensive line, where you put 4 defensive ends on that line and you just tell them to go. Because now with the depth that we have and the strength that we have at that position now, that position, James, 2-3 weeks ago went from a glaring weakness to a glaring strength. Now all of a sudden you have pieces around you that, whether they're Nolan Smith coming back from injury, Brandon Graham coming off of retirement, this kid coming from the Miami Dolphins, the other kids like Jalix Hunt and Ojolari and all of those people like thriving at the right time, vibing at the right time. Look, I'm not saying you got to run the NASCAR package all the time. I'm just saying I'd like to see it once or twice to see how the Packers might react. I want to really see it against Detroit because Jared Goff is a statue.
Yeah.
And honestly, I want to see his eyeballs pop out of his head when he sees 3 guys breathing down his neck 2 seconds after he snaps the ball. It's going to be fun. And I think that this is a credit to Howie Roseman. I know we're going to get into it in a minute, James, but this is a credit to Howie Roseman. He didn't sell the farm, but he still got what he needed to get.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what a good GM does.
It's crazy to think about, too, with Jalen Phillips, because you perfectly said it best there, Joe. With the circumstance that he had with Miami, was kind of like that he couldn't wait to get out of there because how bad the team was, and also he just couldn't wait to for me, the Jalen Phillips I want to see is that like you brought up perfectly, is that NASCAR package with Nolan Smith and also with Brandon Graham, and the list goes on and on about that too. I think what Jalen Phillips has to do here is that he has to have that similar like a Jay Ajayi effect that he was not but obviously it's offensive defense, but when he came to Philadelphia, that he was like a jubilation. They said finally I'm free from that. You even remember when Ajayi went to that Super Bowl, even when he won the Super Bowl, he actually broke down because he was like, I finally made it. I finally reached the pinnacle. And I think that's going to what happen here him too. I think it's going to happen with Jalen Phillips here too, is because he has the right tool set, and I think if you play him to the capability that you want him to play to, I think that's going to be even more of a bigger step for Vic Fangio to see what he does have in store with this. I mean, with this defensive front, and maybe it could be another resurrection of his career, like the others, like I brought up, and even Saquon's a good example of that too. But I gotta say right now, I mean, maybe this is probably something that Jalen Phillips says, okay, I didn't do very well up in Miami. My coach was a head case. Now I'm coming into a team that just won a Super Bowl, and I want to show that I belong here too.
You got to keep in mind with Jair Alexander and Jalen Phillips, like both come from situations. Alexander, the Packers gave up on him. The Ravens had him. They didn't even play him.
Yeah.
So you come with Alexander, you come with a chip on your shoulder because you have something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
You have something to prove. And with Jalen Phillips, he comes here with like this rebirth. He comes here coming from an organization that didn't know which way was north. And he comes here going, these guys are so put together.
They are.
Guys are so like driven, and like he even had an interview in the locker room 2 or 3 days later after his second or third day of practice, and he's like, I love it around here. These guys actually know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And he said that in such a matter-of-fact way, it might as well have been a flare to the Miami Dolphins front office and coaching staff. Y'all don't know what you're doing. This is an organization that does. I like that. Like, this is what it's supposed to be. And I'll say this in closing with Jalen Phillips. You brought up about Jay Ajayi. You got to remember what Jay Ajayi brought that year he came here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's a rental. Phillips is a rental. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jay Ajayi gave depth to that running back room.
Mm-hmm.
Phillips is going to give depth to this defensive end room.
That's right.
The whole point of bringing Ajayi in that year was to boost more flexibility within the run game, to flex the run game's muscles. The point of bringing Jalen Phillips into this defense is to flex the pass rush muscles.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's not a good run stopper, James. He just knows one speed. Quarterback, hit him. That's
right.
it. That's all he knows how to do, and that's fine. That's what I want you to do. Target acquired and hit him as many times as possible.
Yeah, and you said it best there next week with Jared Goff coming into town. He is a statue, so I think we're going to see a lot more of him, and especially probably we'll see him this week against the Packers. I mean, it'll be curious to know how they use him this week, too.
I'm going to have a hot take for you, James. If Jair Alexander plays this week, he's going to pick Jordan Love off.
Ooh, now you're talking.
He's going to pick him off, and then he's going to hand him the football.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the 15 yards. I'll take the 15. I want Jair to pick the ball off and hand Jordan Love the football and say, you take this back to the front office who said that I wasn't good enough to stay here.
Would you say there'll be Would you say it's a pick six?
Oh, I would love that. Yeah.
I would love it too.
I think that in his perspective, Jair Alexander, we talk about like right moment, right time. Mm-hmm. It just happened to be we pick up the guy that was their best, like all-star caliber defensive back in Green Bay. We pick him up because no one else wants him. And the first team we play coming out of the bye, coming off the trade deadline, when we first acquired this guy, is his former team that gave up on him. Yeah, it's a poetic justice that he picks Love off and just hands him the football.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of trades that happened over the week, this one's actually a little bit of a shocker, but it feels like the Jets are basically going out of business sale more than anything. Fire sale. There you go.
Yep.
I was going to say, well, it's around the same time I was thinking too. But so the Jets traded Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts, and the Colts are probably one team that has been the shock of the world this year, and I think this makes them even better. But overall, what Mitch was going to ask us here was that Do you think Howie Roseman would have called the Jets to see if Sauce Gardner wanted to come here? I mean, like what? What's your reaction when you hear the news if Howie Roseman was on the move of trying to get Sauce Gardner here?
So I'll be honest. I knew the Jets were having a fire sale. I did not think they were going to do that.
Yeah.
So when we got Jair Alexander, right?
Mm-hmm.
I knew how good Jair Alexander was in his prime, right? And I'm like, okay, we're training for a corner, we're training for a defensive back. Okay, all right. Why don't we just go pie in the sky? Like we were talking all week, all bye week about Myles Garrett and would you trade 3 first-round picks for Myles Garrett? Would you trade this for Max Crosby? And it was all the defensive line. And then I had thought about this prior to the Sauce Gardner trade, but after the Jair Alexander trade, I said, why are we going pie in the sky with the secondary? And then I see Sauce Gardner get traded. I'm like, why didn't we do that? I'm like, 2 first-round picks is a lot, but you were
Yeah,
about
it's a
to
little
give
steep.
3, right? But you were about to give 3 up for Myles Garrett, and you still get Sauce Gardner for 2 years on his rookie deal. I'm like, you pair him with Guantanamo Bay and Cooper DeJean, no one's throwing on you. Like no one's throwing on you. Like
Yeah.
I get the whole like would I have loved to got Sauce Gardner? Yes. Would the price have been way too? The price is steep, and that would have like I would have been like someone's got to twist my arm to do it.
Right.
But you got to understand, if you could have a lockdown secondary for 2 years, for the rest of this year and next year,
Mm-hmm.
and possibly not entirely, but possibly re-sign Sauce Gardner and have Sauce Gardner, Guantanamo Bay, and Cooper DeJean for the next 5-6 years.
Wow.
Does it really matter? I mean, really, does it really matter what that defensive line looks like? I mean, I get Jalen Carter wants to get paid, Jordan Davis wants to get paid, but much like Sauce Gardner, you can give the 5th-year option. We can run it back with Sauce Gardner. So, no, I would not have loved 2 first-round picks. But if you give this team with Sauce Gardner 2 years to get it done, I give Howie another year and a half, 2 years to get that first-round pick back. Yeah, I would have done it in a heartbeat. I
Yeah.
think Myles Garrett would have been tougher because you already paid him. Like the Browns already paid him. They already gave him his big contract. So you would have been saddled with that money. Whereas Sauce, you wouldn't have been. The only thing you would have been saddled with is losing 2 first-round picks and figuring out how to cope. You would have coped with the best secondary in the league.
Yeah, and my dad Joe Scorza brings up a good point here. He says that the Colts gave up more for Sauce Gardner than the Packers did for Micah Parsons.
That's
So
a true statement. Well, the Packers gave 2. No, the Packers gave 2 first-rounders up for Micah, but they also gave up a player. They
yeah, they gave up Kenny Clark, I think, right?
Yeah, so
That's right.
the Packers gave up a little bit more than the Jets. The Packers gave up more than the Jets. But here's the thing. This is, I guess, the difference in market. What's more valuable? We talked about Myles Garrett last week. We weren't even thinking about Sauce Gardner. We
Right.
weren't thinking about like a cornerback in the same caliber. Why weren't we talking about like Derek Stingley Jr.? Why weren't we talking about like Joe Hayden more? Like these secondary guys, they deserve just as much. I mean, they keep the air raid, down to a minimum. And let's face it, the league is still a passing league. So, yeah, you can have pass rushers and look at what happened to Micah last week. He got 0 pressures.
That's
for
right.
the first time in his career against the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just look, would it have been a lot to give? Yes. but the reward, I think, would have been much greater than the risk of losing 2 first-round picks.
Right. Yeah, and I think the other thing too is like even my dad brings up another good point here. He says that the Eagles will never give up 3 first rounders for Myles Garrett if the time came for it too. So yeah. I mean, the thing that sticks out to me the most is if
Well,
you probably
according to Jeff McClain, they were going to.
they were gonna
I'm
go
not
to, okay.
saying that Jeff McClain's a liar. I know he's got a buddy relationship, like a stepbrothers kind of Will Ferrell kind of relationship
Yeah.
with Nick Sirianni, but that was supposedly the rumor mill.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Howie was interested in Micah Parsons and was willing to give 3 first rounders up for Micah. So McClain had wrote if he was willing to give 3 up for Micah,
There he is.
he would have
Hello.
probably given up 3 up for
Hello,
Myles
Newman.
Garrett.
What's up,
What's
Joe?
up? What's up,
Hey,
brother?
Mitch, how's Otani?
I don't know. I was right about the World Series, though. I'll take it.
Yeah, I know. You're celebrating with your favorite team, the Dodgers. We get it.
It's okay.
But
all right.
but
Wi-Fi booming, buddy.
Mi-
The Wi-Fi's good. You guys are gonna
Mi-
laugh.
Excellent. What's that?
So the guy was leaving. I was like I normally do. I say "Go Birds" when they're leaving, when someone's leaving my house,
Sure, yeah.
and he's like, "I'm a Falcons fan."
Oh, dude, really?
still works.
I was right
That's
about
the
the Birds.
worst.
yeah,
I was like,
still
I
At
was
least
right
be a
about the
Bulldogs
Birds.
fan, man. Oh man, that's a buzzkill.
But
That's a
Mitch,
buzzkill.
I gotta ask a question to you now that you've popped on, and we kind of
Well, at least you
Yeah.
said bird. At least you got the.
I was right.
You had the wrong. You had the wrong bird.
me and James kind of danced around it a little, but I gotta ask. So
Hey, man.
last week on this episode, you and I got into a debate about the Eagles being the team in the NFC, right?
That was 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And you are the one that pointed out 2 teams, the Packers and the Lions. Now I gotta ask, 2 weeks later, you have the Packers and the Lions, one that lost against the Panthers, and one that lost just a Minnesota against the Minnesota team that they probably shouldn't have lost to.
Right.
Now, my question to you, the Eagles record-wise are the best team in the NFL currently. I know
Mhm.
they just came off a bye. My question to you is this. Do you still stand by what you said 2 weeks ago? That this is not a Super Bowl caliber team, especially now what Howie has done at the trade deadline.
I was actually thinking about this before I hopped on. And the thing I'm going to start with the Packers first. The Packers, this will lead into the later subjects. They're inconsistent now, right? You don't know which side of the Green Bay you're going to get.
Yeah.
So if we get the good Green Bay, like the very, very good Green Bay, we might be in trouble. We might be. But
Maybe.
if they're like the Giants, then maybe it's just like which side are we gonna get? Now, Detroit, I'm still the same about Detroit. Still the same. No
Hmm.
matter what, I'm not taking my stance off that.
Well,
It's the
I'll
same
say.
thing.
I'll say this right now. Like whatever the time calls for, I say it right now. I think the Eagles got the big opportunity. Like they'll be getting that number 1 seed when it's all said and done. I think more than anything.
Mhm.
And I think if I have to pick and choose, like who'd be the 2nd seed, I think it might be Detroit or San Francisco, depending on the situation here. But I mean, right now, I think it might be Detroit and Philadelphia as the number 1 and 2 seeds.
Honestly, I hate to say this because it pains
Probably
me.
Seattle.
Seattle's a good one. We're gonna talk about Seattle later because I got
Sure.
something to say about Seattle.
Pains me to say this, but San Francisco might be the biggest competition to that number 1 seed because they have the easiest schedule in the NFL.
They do.
And so, for the foreseeable next couple weeks, next 2 or 3 months, they're not going to necessarily have a lot of challenges in front of them outside of their own injuries. And
Yeah.
so, like, it's going to be interesting to me if they start to get hurt, then all bets are off. I mean, it's just off. But if everyone stays healthy, I hate the fact that the Niners could steal the 1 seed. I really do.
They could.
Because the Eagles had the hardest schedule, and yet here comes the San Francisco 49ers with the easiest schedule, and they swoop in and just steal the 1 seed, and we just happen to get the hardest schedule.
Well, here's the thing too. I mean, we thought last year like the Eagles not getting that number 2 seed was gonna that number 1 seed was a little bit ludicrous seeing Detroit, and then look what happened with Detroit. They got eliminated in the divisional round, and then the Eagles got the number 2 seed and obviously won the Super Bowl after that. But I think the thing that I would be
it's a little bit of San Francisco is a paper tiger?
A little bit. Because, I mean, I'm not saying, I mean, look, Mac Jones has done an admirable job, fantastic job since Brock Purdy got hurt. But what else do they got on the team that's like significant? I mean, I don't know if it, I mean, look,
McCaffrey.
I mean, McCaffrey's the big X factor, but we got a lot of good players on our defensive front. That's another thing. Kittle's hurt too, so let's see how he'll come back and see.
I'm just naming players.
No, you're fine.
Gone,
yeah, so Jawan Jennings during Bulldog Killer.
Where is Ayuk? I forget. Where is Ayuk now?
He's still in San Francisco.
I think he's in. I think he's in San Fran.
He's still
there.
Fran.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, obviously Debo is not there anymore.
They had to choose between Ayuk and Debo, and they chose Ayuk. So
Debo.
I actually like that pick for them. I actually like that.
Yeah.
Brandon.
The other guy too. Ricky something Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall is another one to keep an eye.
But I still hate the idea that like a team that had like a cakewalk of a schedule is just going to.
It's a little ludicrous, gonna admit.
But like, I mean, I get it, but I don't love it. Like,
I'm looking at the schedule now for the Niners. They got the Rams. That could be a loss.
Maybe. They beat the Rams in Los Angeles though.
That was with Mac Jones too.
Yeah.
So they got the Cardinals after that. They got the Panthers after that. They got the Browns, the Titans, then the Colts, then the Bears, then Seattle.
We're going to get screwed for that number 1 seed. I think you're right, Joe. Because that's an easy schedule without saying an easy damn schedule.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Jesus Christ.
The only one that I fear is the Colts. If I'm the Niners, that's the only team I fear.
Maybe that's the only one that will be the X. Maybe they'll be the loss.
Division locked up by then.
Maybe. Maybe the number 1 seed for their seed too.
Seattle's playing great ball right now.
They are.
Got Seattle. The Panthers, they're getting wins here and there. So I can see them getting a win, honestly.
You know what's funny?
The Bears again. The Bears again.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I think the Panthers could play spoiler alert against San Francisco like they did with Green Bay. They're a young team.
Understand, the Panthers have 2 wins this season that no one would have expected. The Cowboys and the Packers.
Right.
The Panthers no one thought the Panthers were going to beat Dallas. No one thought the Panthers were going to beat Green Bay. Understand, this is a team in the Panthers that are just like, we got nothing to lose. We got nothing to lose. And sometimes a team that's like, we got nothing to lose is the most dangerous of teams. If they squeak into the playoffs,
they could be scared.
I don't want to face them. I just don't.
Well, I mean, if Ricky Manning Jr. is not on the other sideline, I think we'll be okay. But...
right.
But it'll be Bryce Young becoming the darling of the Panthers, like Jake Delhomme was.
But here's my thing
that's how long we go back a ways.
Here's my thing about Seattle, though, Mitch. I had to ask a Lady A. I won't say it because then she'll respond. But I had to ask Lady A who the Seattle Seahawks head coach was. Because I don't know who. And when she told me who it was, I'm like, who? And so, like, Seattle is such an unknown. Because you got to understand, they lost their best offensive weapon in DK Metcalf. They're still kind of like wishy-washy on defense. I just, if they're playing on the road, they're kind of like what you're saying the Packers are. you could get a good Seattle or a bad Seattle.
Well,
Like a really bad Seattle.
they still got Nick Jigba and also Shaheed. They just got Shaheed from the Saints. I mean, I'm not saying, but I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I do agree with you, Joe, on that because you think about it. Look at what happened last year with Sam Darnold with the Vikings. He turned into Sam Darnold, so he is beatable in the playoffs. I do concur with that. The Darwin for me will be that all depends on who will be coming out of that 6th or 7th seed, like depending on who the Eagles will play. It's either like that Seattle like will be an example of that, or maybe Carolina.
Yeah.
There's a strong chance that maybe I'm trying to think about. There's another team that's a real shocker this year.
Well, you can kiss.
Maybe it's just those two teams in general.
You could kiss the NFC East. Done.
Yeah.
Like, you
right.
kiss
Oh yeah.
with that because Jaden
maybe
Daniels
Caleb Williams in the Bears.
Right. Jaden Daniels is done. Well, see, I think the Vikings would have a better chance of getting in.
Maybe the Vikings, maybe
in the NFC North, but again, I kind of say like that Panthers team, that Falcons team. Look at that NFC South.
I don't know.
Be interesting.
I'm not sure about the Falcons though, because like the Falcons, like I mean, Penix is good, but he's not.
Hey,
he's not...
let's be nice about the Falcons. The guy tried to fix my Wi-Fi today.
yeah, right. That's true. That's true. We don't lose a customer. That's right. That's right, Bubba.
Listen, all I'm saying is, I agree with James. Whoever that 6th and 7th seed in NFC, if it could be Seattle,
to come to Philadelphia. Hopefully,
it could be a Panthers. But they are going to have nothing to lose. That is the thing that makes me a little leery is that it's not going to be the Rams. It's not going to be like a team that has already had their proving ground. It's going to be a team that's got nothing to lose. They're playing with house money, and that makes them a very dangerous team.
Well, I won't say dangerous, but it could be like a Cinderella team. But then again, there's not a lot of Cinderella teams. I mean, I know a lot of baseball, but there's a lot. I mean, hockey has done that once in a while, every once in a blue moon. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's either that 6th or 7th seed. I mean, the Falcons. I mean, if they get in the postseason, they could be a threat. The Panthers could be a threat. But like I said, like Mike Quick said it best after that Falcon game in 2017. You're not coming in here and leaving here with a win. I mean, once you come into Philadelphia, you're going to lose the bench. I'm not saying eventually, but it's going to be harder to come to Philadelphia and leave there with the victory.
So, Mitch, my next question to you, we brought up, me and James were talking about Sauce Gardner and him going to the Colts for 2 first-round picks. And, last week we talked about a possibility of trading 3 first-round picks for Myles Garrett. Now, we focused on offseason, the possibility, especially after it happened, and like trading for Micah Parsons, and then it was Myles Garrett, and then the possibility of Trey Hendrickson, and it was all defensive linemen, right? So we had brought up in passing about Joe Hayden. I had brought up about Derek Stingley Jr. because I thought the Texans were going to be abysmal this year. They're not great, but they're not abysmal. Now, my question to you, why is it the value of a defensive back like a Sauce Gardner, who's probably one of the top, 8 corners, top 6 corners in the league? Why is the value for him so much less in your mind than a defensive lineman? Because why were we talking about Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett if we could have been talking about getting Sauce Gardner?
I think it's because that they like the big toy, right? They like the big toy. Everyone wants to play with the big shiny toy. Micah Parsons is more well-known than Sauce Gardner. Myles Garrett is more well-known than Sauce Gardner. And everyone likes seeing Russ the quarterback. Russ the quarterback, and that's like the big thing that those two guys do. And Sauce Gardner, I just looked it up. He is 25 years old. He's only 25.
Yeah.
Would I have left back on his rookie deal?
Yeah. Would I have given up 2 firsts for a Sauce? Probably not. I'm not going down that route. But Myles Garrett, he can get you like 4 or 5 sacks a game. He can get you like 3 sacks in a game. So
but Sauce
Myles Garrett, I feel like it's a better player than Sauce.
But Sauce could get you a pick six. He could actually get you
He-
points.
Yeah, I know.
He
So did
could.
Miles
He
Garrett with
could.
the forced fumble and pick up other way.
So I'll
Yeah.
ask you. I'll ask you guys this too about Sauce Gardner too. You
Yeah.
think Howie Roseman would make a move like that in the offseason if it has to come down to it? If you're looking for quarterback help, if Jair doesn't pan out,
No, because I don't think the Colts are going to let Sauce out of their sight. I think they're going to. He's got 2 years left on his contract. They can
Mhm.
either decide to pick up his 5th-year option, or they can extend him longer. My feeling is, if the Colts weren't stupid, and they shouldn't be, but you never know with that owner.
I mean, Ursay's daughter's actually done an admirable job with that team.
Right.
Has done a fantastic job. No offense to Jim, may he rest in peace, but your daughter's
Jerry
doing a
Jones.
lot better than you are.
Right.
Yeah, better than Jerry Jones.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah,
By a far, maybe.
and Robert
maybe-
Kraft and Robert Kraft too. Well, actually,
Maybe-
Robert Kraft.
Maybe Jerry should
he's
take a
rock and roll
pointer
place.
from Ursay and just, well, not kick the bucket, but just let his kid take over. Anyhow, my feeling is this: the Colts are going to extend him. They're not going to let him out of the building, and so that's why I brought it up before you came on, Mitch. The idea of having Sauce Gardner, Guantanamo Bay, and Cooper DeJean as your.
I love how you didn't say my
second-
name on that. You're like, good time and obey. You're really trying here. You're really trying.
So,
Hey, Mitch,
you know,
Mitch got out a goal last night, my friend.
yes, he did.
Yay! I scored.
So,
It's Smashville, my friend, my man. Tell Joe I said F you.
I already did.
With having Coop and Mitchell and Sauce Gardner as your secondary, potentially for 2 years at least, but if not for longer, that secondary would be, you wouldn't be able to throw in that secondary at all. And that's why I would have thought about the two first-round picks. Because if I had 2 years to at least work it out, like pick up the 5th-year option for Sauce Gardner, which would have been $20 million, I would have picked up the 5th-year option for him and Jalen Carter, and I would have tried to figure it out in next year. That would have been the mission, is figure out how to hold on to as much of this defensive line and try to solidify this secondary for the next 5 years. Because I would say that secondary, if we had Sauce and Coop and Mitchell, I think that would be as good as having I think it was Sheldon Brown, Lito Shepard, and Al Harris.
Ooh. Actually, no, it was Troy Vincent, Bobby Taylor, and Al Harris.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Are you talking about what about Lito Shepard?
Lito?
I like Lito.
Anybody's not
saying-
going to do the part of the Boss Skag song? The Boss Skag song? I mean, that lean you into it.
I was saying that, like, if we had Sauce, we would have 3 good corners.
Yeah.
In the secondary, since we had Al Harris and James corrected me. I thought it was Lito and Sheldon.
Well,
Brown.
I mean, I think I might be right, but sometimes I don't know. I mean, because the Lito Shepard, like I totally forgot how good he was. I mean, even in 2006 against the Cowboys,
my dad called him Lito Toast Shepard.
Yeah, I call him Lito, and like I said, the Boss Skag song. That's my favorite song from them. So that's a great song.
Let me ask you
and they actually did that at the link when he picked off the ball. They actually played that song every time.
Yeah, let me ask you guys this: what grade did you give the bye week? Because I was out dealing with the Falcons.
Oh, you know what? I forgot all about that. You know what? Maybe we should do it now.
Yeah, let's go. I'm pretty sure all of us are going to give it an A.
A plus.
Like you guys,
plus point.
You guys liked what happened during the bye week, Joe?
I wonder. Hey, Joe. I wonder who will be disappointed about that. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Got it.
We love you, Matty B. Hope all is well.
here's the thing. Are we talking about just the trade deadline and the moves, or are we talking about that and the fact that the Lions and the Packers both lost?
Just in general. In
Uh,
general.
I would give it an A just because of
Yeah.
the NFC becoming more inferior and the Eagles getting stronger and more depth.
Yeah.
Like I can't say that Jalen Phillips and Jair Alexander are like Joe Hayden and Miles Garrett. Like it's not the same thing, but they give more depth to this room than and gives more options to Vic to do what he needs to do for his defense. And I think, and I said this to James before he came on, Mitch. I said, isn't it fitting that if Alexander were to play this week, that he is going to go against the team that gave up on him too soon? Like he gets reclamation, like redemption right away with the Packers. And I'm looking forward to it. I said to James, my hot take this week is that Jair Alexander has an interception and hands Jordan Love the ball and says, you take this back to the front office and tell them I haven't lost a step.
And shove it. Yeah, I think I'm right there with you guys. I think it's I mean, for me, the bye week it couldn't ask for a better bye week. Couldn't ask for a better positive bye week. I mean, even we brought it up earlier about like obviously Detroit losing, Green Bay, and then Dallas and all that too. So it was a positive bye week. But I got to say right now, the free agents, I mean, not free agency, the trade deadline that the Eagles made. I got to say right now, I think Howie nailed it. And I'm not trying to act like trying to be like a homer here. I'm being serious. I think he did a fantastic job bringing these players in. And he actually, I think the other thing he did too is that every year, everybody worries how he's not going to do anything. And he just continues to shock us every which way.
Well, I got
to give him an A+.
I got to say two things real quick. So number
Sure.
one, about Howie. Dave Dombrowski needs to get some pointers, like some vicious pointers from Howie Roseman, because that's how you
Don't forget
GM.
Daryl Morey.
Well, yeah, well,
at least Danny Brier's doing a good job. He got Trevor Zegras out of it.
Some people can't be saved, Mitch. I just, putting it out there. Morey might not be able to save his own job.
Actually, I don't mean to interrupt you, Joe, but can you tell Nick Nurse to stop playing Joel Embiid all the time when it's crunch time too?
Well,
I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
We'll save that for another time.
Let's
anyhow,
save that because I'm getting mad just hearing about that right now.
So,
it can be too.
I wanted to kind of, if you don't mind, Mitch, I wanted to kind of give like a PSA here.
Go for it.
All right.
We don't usually talk about Cowboys. We don't talk about the Cowboys.
Correct.
I got the news this morning from the morning show that there was a player who was 24 years old on the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not aware of his name.
Yeah.
He took his life. He was dealing apparently with some mental health issues. For a guy like me, guy like James, and I think, Mitch, you can resonate with this too, is mental health is a big, big thing.
Yes.
And, you have to take care of yourself both physically and mentally. And
Absolutely.
for anyone out there who is struggling with any semblance of mental health and depression, anxiety, panic, anything, talk to somebody. We do this show. We do Patterson Ave Sports Show. We do This Week in Flyers and Phillies. We do all these shows as our outlets of therapy. We talk to all of you to get our mental wellness under control. It's better for you to seek out a person to talk to when you feel like you need that. So I'm sending a PSA to everyone. Please, if you're in that hole, don't feel like you're in it by yourself. Go talk to somebody. There's a light where there is darkness.
Well said, brother.
My condolences, our condolences out to the family of that young soul. But
his name is Marshawn Kneeland.
Yeah.
Marshawn Kneeland. That was his name, and
Real
he
tragedy.
actually,
It was a real tragedy. Yeah,
yeah,
sad. Really
well,
sad.
yeah, it sucks. It really does.
I
But
mean,
yep,
maybe I'll say one thing about this too, because I think we
go
talked
for it.
about it. I think we talked about it with the AJ situation, and we were trying to tell him that we're all here for him. You know, when he was going through his toughest of times, and also, I mean, yeah, I mean, look, I know we can't stand the Cowboys, but this is just we never want to see this happen to
Yeah.
anybody. You know,
Yeah.
and it's so sad that how it happened, and even like reading the tea leaves of it, and also reading the not the tea leaves, but I'm trying to say the right thing here. It's more like I was like reading like the stories about it, and it was depressed. It's pretty sad to see that stuff, especially somebody who went through a hurdle of mental health, and also sometimes like we can all relate that it's okay to not be okay, but at the same time too that it's one of those things that no one exactly right. My dad says it perfectly. He says no one is alone, and there is help out there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing is too is that I just wish there was a lot. I mean, it's sad because I just makes you it makes you feel a little like
The way that
it
someone
hits you in the
point-
feels. You know, it makes you
Yeah.
it hits you in the feels that sometimes like you don't know how to react to it because it happened. So I mean, it's just that I just like feel so bad for his family right now, and hopefully, there'll be better days ahead because of it, and hopefully, there'll be.
I feel bad for his girlfriend.
I feel bad for
Yeah.
his girlfriend. I feel bad for his friends, his family, and I mean, the tragedy is that we live in a bad world right now, and the worst part about it is that we're more divided than ever. But the one thing we should be doing is that we should care about our mental health more than anything, because that's to me my essential is that mental health should be a priority from like just like
A
I think
friend of
mental
mine
health should be
said it.
talked about it more and more, especially because it's undebatable anymore.
My friend of mine said it best. The Dallas Cowboys suck, but people do not.
Yes,
Like that is the difference. We can say the Dallas Cowboys suck, but the people do not. And so therefore I just wanted to take a moment and give our condolences to that his family and his girlfriend and look, you know, when we talk about AJ Brown, we talk about some of the, another big news story was AJ Antonio Brown got arrested for allegedly for murder in Miami.
yeah,
So here's the thing, people said that that Antonio Brown wasn't the same after he got hit really hard, knocked out pretty much by Burfict.
Vontaze Perfect, I think.
Yeah, Burfict. And so when he got knocked out there, he just wasn't the same after that. CTE is still not an exact science. Mental wellness is not an exact science. So look, talking to people, getting, erring on the side of alleviating your mental stress is always beneficial. So on that note, we can move on, but I just wanted to stop and give that PSA.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Joe. And I'm gonna go back to the comments real quick. Joe Scorza, he said Marshawn Leland, a real tragedy. Bruce comes in, a very big supporter of mine. Mitch, we can do is R.I.P. Marshawn and pray with love and kindness to his family. Absolutely.
Amen, brother.
And Joe Scorza, absolutely, Joe. No one's alone. There's help out there. This is beyond football rivalries. And Bruce again goes, Mitch, I feel the most sad is that many people only care only something so bad happens like this. And I wish people could listen to others and be nice like you always are to everyone. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's a real difficult time.
As the guy who just passed away, the iconic radio legend Pierre Robert would say, "Love each other and one another."
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right. Exactly right, good citizen. Exactly right, good citizen.
I was actually going to bring that up, but the internet was being trying to be fished by a Falcons fan. I was trying to, try to get back here as quick as
So
possible.
you're
But
saying Atlanta's invading us? Is that what you're saying?
Hey! Don't say that. Don't say that. I'm a Bulldog fan. I take it personally, Bob.
hey, no, they're actually in
No, I'm just
Germany
kidding.
right now because they have a game Sunday morning in Germany
right,
against
yeah.
the Colts.
I forgot about that. I totally
that's
forgot
Sunday
they were in
morning.
Germany.
Yep, thank you, Will.
You know what the
They
greatest thing
just
about it
missed
is.
Oktoberfest too. Damn it!
You know what the greatest thing about it is too is that even if the Falcons win, I mean, well, Penix is back this week, right? I think he was back last week.
Yeah.
I think I would love to see.
No?
He's not.
Joe, is he back or
No,
no?
he is. He is.
Oh,
He is.
okay.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if it's Kirk Cousins, then he ain't coming back home a lot. He ain't coming. Oh, I mean, he ain't coming back home with a lot of. Jeez, can you imagine if it was Kirk Cousins that taking on Atlanta? Oh,
He
my
might
goodness.
lose his passport.
Yeah, someone's gonna hide his passport somewhere. There's 2 more games in. There's like one in Germany next week too, right? There's another game in Germany.
I think so. Yeah.
Damn, there's so many Europe games this year. It's unbelievable.
Think
It's
about
like
this.
unbelievable.
Sauce Gardner, this is his second game in Germany.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Oh
He
my
got to go
god.
back.
Oh my god. So
Huh?
so
Like,
he's
I was just here.
He's like, I'm just here, damn it. All right, pick 6, here I come. But,
well.
yeah,
I like
go for it,
I like the Colts in that game too. I like to see what they do against the
Yeah.
Falcons.
I
I like
think
Drake
I got
London.
the Colts
I think Drake London's a good player too.
Yeah. So
Bijan's going to be good too. Bijan will be a good matchup.
I said before, I would not have traded for Sauce Gardner. I would not have given up 2 firsts. What I would have given up is like 2 seconds and a player. I don't know which player I would have given up, but that's what I would have done. 2 seconds and a player. What would you guys have given up for Sauce? 2 firsts? Joe said he would still give up 2 firsts.
Yeah, because I let Howie figure it out.
I would say 2 first, but then again, if you do give him 2 first, I can understand Howie would easily get them picks back, get those picks back easily because he's Howie Roseman.
Right.
But I think for me, I would give up a player for Sauce Gardner, if that sounds
right.
If that sounds right.
I'm gonna put both of you on the hot seat because you're both picking a player. You got to name.
No, I mean, I'm not saying like a top player. I'm talking about I'm talking like a Keely Ringo or somebody.
Okay.
Just
I don't know how you guys would feel about this. I thought about this player for the longest time. Jordan Davis. I might throw in Jordan Davis because of the contract, so that way we can pick. That way we can still have Jalen Carter.
Well, you know what, bitch? I hate to say it, but we haven't agreed on many things. This one I do agree on.
Oh wow!
Shout out to AK, man, my guy AK. He gave me the suggestion. So
if you put the proposal down, Jordan Davis and 2 second-round picks for Sauce Gardner, I would say yes for one main reason. We have Trey Robinson backing him up.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the future inevitably unless you and like, look, you can't sign everyone. I've already said this before. You can't sign everyone.
No, I like Jordan Davis too.
But,
I like he's a good player too.
I understand, but let me ask you something.
Sure.
Who would you rather see in Eagles green? Sauce Gardner for the next 2 years or Jordan Davis? Who's going to give you more production?
I know. I mean, I know what you mean.
Sauce Gardner, like I pointed out to Mitch earlier, he can give you points.
That's fair. That's fair.
This is a guy that, I did a profile piece for a YouTube channel when Sauce first broke out as a rookie. And I got to tell you, this kid has every bit of Darrelle Revis in him that you could want. Now you have Revis Island in Sauce Gardner, and you have Quintana Bay and Quinyon Mitchell, and then you have the best nickel corner in Cooper DeJean. I don't give a damn who my front four is. I mean, I do, but I don't.
Not
I'm
as
like,
much. Not as much. I get
Not
what you're
as
coming
much.
at. I
Well,
get what you're
no.
getting at.
Well, let me ask you this: would you guys be okay if it was? Yeah, that's a little. That's a good question, Joe. Because like, I mean, Jordan Davis, I understand he has his flaws, but he has played well this year. He has played
So-
well this year.
Your dad
which
actually
gives them
came
more
in.
stock value.
Yeah, your dad actually said, "I'm not giving up a big inside defensive tackle with a huge upside still." Knowing Jordan Davis right now,
Same.
he's playing well.
Same here.
I can
Then
agree
why
with you
draft-
on that, but you gotta add some value, and Jordan Davis has some value.
Yeah, I understand that, and I know how much he's been a struggle the last couple years or so. But
They're both
Isn't
on
even-
the same level contract. I mean, actually, yeah,
It-
they're on the same level contract.
it,
So
it-
you got to ask yourself, what are you going to do with Trey Robinson? You're going to send him for 2 more years?
well, I
And
mean
then,
that's
Joe
probably the
Schwarzer-
rotation.
Hold on, James. Your dad
Sorry
comes
about
in and
that.
goes, "You always need." No, you're good, dude. You always need that front four to work it. To work, it makes everything
Oh.
flow from the inside.
That's.
I'm just looking at the value here.
I mean,
and
you guys
then I'm
know,
like,
you guys are
Howard
not
Roseman
wrong.
will figure out the rest.
I mean, you're not
That's the way
wrong.
I feel like it. But
I would trade like a Cindy Brown. I would trade Cindy Brown for like a
I would not
Sauce
be
Gardner.
mad. I would
I-
not be mad with the Sidney Brown.
I
I
mean,
would
it's.
not.
I mean, it's not. Look, I like Sidney. He's a good player, but he's just not healthy. He just can't stay healthy. I mean, Jordan Davis. I mean, maybe if he's not like panning out, but he has he's actually been a good player this year. Or
Here's
maybe
the
it's just
thing.
because I'm just still trying to hold on to them just to see what their value is. Maybe that's
You
probably
got-
what it is. I don't know.
You got to give credit to the Jets GM a little bit because in the past week, he's gained 3 first-round picks. 2
That's right.
from the Colts and 1 from the Cowboys.
So you're
that's
saying
not
is that the
the
Jets
are
will give us
rebuilding.
the Jets will give us 2 first round picks if it came down to it, if Sauce Gardner was still with the Jets.
I'm saying that if the reason why the Jets went with the 2 first rounders
Right.
isn't because of the value. I mean, it's because of the value, but if we would have had a player
Right.
and said, okay, here's Jordan Davis, a player of value with 2 second-round picks,
Mm-hmm.
the sexier offer, if they had both on the table, would have been the 2 first-rounders.
Right.
Because they see it as, what are 2 second-round picks going to get us? Those 2 players may not start, but we can write it down that the 2 first-round picks will. I mean, right now, they're looking to get a quarterback and they're looking to get a receiver.
Hmm.
So
This might be
you got-
this might be one of the drafts that it could be a wise tale, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
This could be one of those drafts that I say, okay, maybe like we'll be better off in 2026 or not 2026. I mean 2027 to see what they will do.
I say this: is there another Manning going back to New York?
Oh Jesus!
The,
Oh my God!
I
Archie,
got something
Archie.
to say to that,
Archie
but really
Bunker Manning.
quick. James, would you like to read what your dad said?
Sure, he says, but the Jets can make those picks work for them. But that's but he answers the question, and that's the question he wants to ask: is that can the Jets make those draft picks happen?
I'm gonna
Well,
go
it's
no.
the Jets, so
Nah.
no. It's
Probably
the
not.
Jets,
I
so
don't know.
no. But see, here's the thing: they still have Garrett Wilson, right? They still have people, but you can't screw up. Well, I can't say you can't because the Jets will prove me wrong and actually do.
Mhm.
But you shouldn't be able to screw up 4 first-round picks. You just shouldn't.
Right.
But my thing is this: there could be another Manning in New York, in Archie Manning to the Jets, there could be another receiver. Look, if they were to get Archie Manning, have Garrett Wilson and another receiver, and still have Hall back as their running back, that's a pretty good offense. They may not have anything on the defense, but look what the Cowboys are doing with no defense.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
my dad makes up a good point. He says they haven't been successful since Joe Namath! Exclamation points.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I thought.
well, I mean, they did have
I would-
Sanchez for a while, but
Well, I would argue also Vinny Testaverde and Brett Favre.
Chad Pennington too. Yeah.
Yeah, like you had some pretty good quarterbacks, but yeah, they haven't been back to the big dance since Namath, and that's the difference. They have to figure out how to get back on track.
Well, I'll tell you this much about it too: is that that 2010 Jets team was a fun team to watch.
Yeah,
because like that had Buddy Ryan, that had Sanchez, and not Plaxico. It was who was his name? Santonio Holmes.
It was
Rex.
Rex Ryan.
It was Rex Ryan. That's right. And
So,
but that was
No,
15 years
you're
ago.
good.
So no,
Yeah.
you're fine. I was just saying that. Just telling you
Alright.
guys.
So we actually went a little over the hour mark, which is okay because I have my internet issues. We're back on. So let's. Bruce comes in and goes, Mitch, I feel like we will win on Monday. That's a perfect time to segue into the predictions for this game against Green Bay on Monday. So Bruce, shout out to you, man. Thank you. And what's your guys' prediction for the game on Monday? Not Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, I
You
gotta
go
myself
first.
on Monday.
Yep, my guy Wesley in the chat, he had 34 to 14.
James, what do you think?
Yeah, we're gonna start off with James. Let me get to the predictions here.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's the same similar score I had with the Giants game, but I think the Eagles will pull away. I think they will, but I see the Packers will score points, but I think it'll be garbage points if that sounds right.
Yeah.
So I say the Eagles are going to put 38 up on Monday night, and I say that the Packers will put up 20, either 21 or 24. So I'll say 38-24 Birds, and we'll be on to Detroit Rock City.
All right, Joe.
So for the majority of this season, I have picked the Eagles to be a high-scoring team. This game is going to be played in cold, windy weather in Lambeau Field.
The frozen tundra.
You can, Bruce,
as
predict
football
your score
tenuous.
too.
It's
Sure.
gonna be 30 degrees with a wind out of the west at like about 20 miles an hour from what I've heard. And so I'm going to predict that this is going to be a little lower scoring than typical. But I think the Eagles are pissed off at the damn Packers. So I think there's going to be some vinegar and vitriol in that Eagles locker room. I have the Eagles beating the Packers 31-17 at Lambeau Field.
All right, so obviously I got to go lower than both of you in order to get my point across.
Of course you do.
So I'm going 30.
Mitch is the guy that goes on Price is Right and says $1. $1.
Joe, you know why? You know why, Joe? I'm Jewish. So that's why. That's good, AK. That's good, man.
You said it,
Mitch.
not me.
I'm allowed to say it. I say it all the time. It's AK. I say it all the time. So Bruce goes, Mitch, I feel we will win 24-21. AK goes 32-17. So for me, I am going 30 to
24?
No. I'm gonna go 20. 30-20. Bird. All right. So there we go. There's that.
AKA $1.
Exactly. I can't win.
$1.
Win or lose.
You don't know your arithmetic. You don't know my father.
So Bruce goes, Mitch, I feel Hurts will prove to everyone that he is a superstar. Bruce, he does that week in and week out. he's a superstar, but no, like the NFL, we're not going to do this again.
I'm going to ask one question. It's a loaded question, but I got to ask this before we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Because Bruce is opening the door. I got to ask. Okay. Mitch, there's been a question floating around Sports Talk all week. And
Uh-oh.
I think we got to bring it up.
Okay.
I know we're in overtime, but I think I
Go
got to
for
bring
it.
it up.
Go for it.
Is this Eagles team elite?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I've been saying that for a while now.
I've been saying that since I've been saying that since that Viking game. Actually, longer than that,
feel like,
but still.
I feel like they're elite because of the things they do to be able to win.
Yeah.
And like the most important part of any game isn't that you throw for 400 yards or run for 200 yards or score 5 touchdowns. It's did you win the game? And they haven't always put the poster boy games together, but they're an elite team because they're still able to get it done despite of it. So I'm glad you all feel that way. And once again, I will stick to my prediction that the Eagles will be back in the Super Bowl this season.
I'm feeling it now too, brother. It's gonna be. I mean, this is gonna be the. I'm telling you that Giants game, that second Giants game, and that Viking game, I think we're gonna have the same level of results this week too.
All right, guys. So with that being said, appreciate everyone tuning in. Even my guy Ryan, who is a Cowboys fan. Shout out to you, man. He's actually a big supporter of the channel as well. Really appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys
Appreciate
like,
you,
share,
brother.
subscribe to the Steampunk Sports Pennsylvania. Joe, what you got tomorrow?
Well, we got our good buddy Freddie Burns, former of EOP and Edge of Philly Sports radio show. Freddie is really good at talking about his Eagles, and especially we're going to talk about the Sixers and the Flyers. And the real question is Bryce Harper and Dave Dombrowski going to make a mea culpa, or will the Sixers and Flyers shock the world by both making the playoffs? Tune in tomorrow and find out.
Nice.
9:00 a.m. on Streampunk, on the Hardcore Sports Network. Make sure you guys tune into that. I'll be in the chat. I'm sure of it. And guys, we'll catch you all later. Like I said to the Falcons fan earlier today, go Birds.
Over.